Running backwards and forwards for all these videos. G'day, how you all going? So it is the 3rd of March 2020, just heading into the start of autumn. The weather today is absolutely sensational, but right now I'm just standing on at the start of the Howqua track, which heads into Sheepyard Flat. So I'll just be taking the road over behind my shoulder there. Just a quick overnighter by myself, looking at camping down at Fry's Flat, but I'll show you a few things down in that area. It's not an area you head to on a long weekend or anything, because it does get quite busy, but midweek it's not a bad spot just to shoot to for a bit of an escape. So I'll just make my way in now and go find that campsite. Just behind me here you can see this sign here about this road being windy and narrow. Now for some reason this road here, everyone just thinks it's you got to drive it at a million mile an hour. There's a lot of near misses, and if not there probably would be quite a few accidents every year, but just take it nice and easy. You're on holidays, there's no need to rush. If you allow yourself plenty of time to get in there. I've just stopped at the trailhead for the bushwalk that heads up to the top of Mount Timbertop over behind me there. Right now we're about 850 metres above sea level. Mount Timbertop itself is around 1270 metres above sea level. There's a walk on the sign there, it just says it's about 5.4 k's return. I'm yet to walk up to the top of there. I won't do it today, but I'll probably do it later on this year when the weather cools off a little bit. But if you have hiked to the top of Mount Timbertop and back down, post a comment down below. I'd like to know what you think and what the views are like from up there. So I'm just going to continue on now, make my way into Sheepyard Flat. Alright, so middle of summer, if it was a bit warmer, be a perfect spot just to go in here and sit under those little waterfalls there. There's a couple of nice little holes here, you can just sit there and relax. Over behind my shoulder there, that's Tunnel Bend itself. So that was hand dug in through the mountain there, or through the road there, which you actually drive over it as you head through. You can walk through to the other side of it, but today I'm not. So normally water is running through here, but coming towards the end of summer, there hasn't been a whole lot of rain, so the water's just a bit stagnant in there as well. But yeah, quite a good little spot here. It's only a short little walk off the side of the road there, but definitely worth checking out. Now if you continue along up here on Brock's Road here, where I'm standing right now, you can head up to Bluff Hut, Lovick's Hut, follow King Billy track, head all the way up to the Howard High Plains, drop down to Lacola or down Zeka Spur and make your way through into Wanangata, climb up through the other side and across to Dargo, or alternatively you can head through Wanangata itself and make your way across towards Myrtleford and Bright over that side. Out the other side of Fry's Flat you can head up towards the Slate Mine and Mitchell's Flat area and pass your way through there. And just keep in mind though, when you are heading through here, there is seasonal track closures through the winter time. It does head up quite in a high elevation. One last spot that's quite easy to do for a day trip from Mansfield. Come through here, up over the top, you can visit Bluff Hut, backtrack a little bit, drop down Bluff Link Track or 16 mile, takes you past Bindaree Flat, past Bindaree Falls, and if you do have time you can head up to the iconic hut up the top there, which you would probably all know as Craig's Hut. But there is unlimited areas to explore just by heading up through Brock's Road. Now if you're watching this, you would know about all the bushfires that have been across Australia in the last summer. You can see the hut behind me here still got some foil on it. Now this is Noonans Hut. It's a private hut, but yeah, it's still got some evidence there of where the hut's been wrapped. But there's a nice little camp spot down here. The river's just over the side there, so this is on the banks of the Howqua River. Now Fred Fry was one of 17 kids. He built this hut in around the 1940s when he was working for the Forest Commission. Now inside on the information board there's plenty of history about the Fry family and Fred Fry himself, but it said that he used to head into Mansfield, was pretty fond of a drink or two, hop on his horse, and his horse would make its own way back to here while he was asleep on top of it. So many great history and tales and stories from this magnificent area. Alright, so I've just made my way into Fry's flat and Fry's hut, which you would have seen a bit of footage there as I drove in. There's a couple of camps here. There's one camp right next to the hut itself. I've just continued past that a bit, got a nice big open area to myself. Bit of shade there. I reckon this might be the spot for me for tonight. Now there is a couple of drop toilets here as well, if you need to use those or anything like that. And I reckon this is it. I reckon I'm going to get set up. This is pretty awesome here. Have something to eat and go on the river. Just like that, camp set up. 4 minutes, what does it say? 6 minutes and 50 seconds. Not too bad. Time for a late lunch, so it's about, I don't know what time it is, doesn't really matter. I'm guessing it's around 3ish. But yeah, all set up, chairs out. Gonna sit back now and just do nothing. So as you've probably realised, I've left camp there. I'm just walking along the Howqua feeder track. So this links a lot of the towns back from the old gold mining era, but this short section just goes from Sheepyard Flat through to Fry's Flat. There's quite a few little signs along here sharing the history of the area, but up a little bit further, if you haven't been along here before, got something pretty cool to show you, which is still sitting out here in the bush. Alright, here we go. Check this out. So this big chimney here behind me was used back in the gold mining era. Many companies came through at the time, tried their luck, and then moved on, and other companies moved through and bought it. There's all this information and stuff around here. So in behind the chimney there's the big furnace. So it's quite interesting that this is still here. It's been maintained by the Friends of the Howqua Hills. So there is a photo on the board there that looks up inside the chimney. But it really is fascinating. Quite a bit of history. And there's a timeline here as well. There was also a large wheel here as well. So at the time, the wheel stood 19 metres high. On the info here it says it cost about £60,000, which in today's terms equates to about $10 million to have that running here. And they said when it got running at the time, there was big cheers, champagne was popped, and everyone was celebrating. So it would have been such a massive effort getting all that stuff down into here at that time, as you can imagine. But if you look closely up behind the hills here, there is some tracks and roads which probably was used back in those days. That's all closed off now and starting to get a bit overgrown in there as well, but there's so much history around in this area. So tonight I'll be cooking on the Trangia. So it's 25 to 2. The whole weight of all this whole kit is just over 1 kilo. So by using this more often than not, I've actually dropped a lot of weight rather than bringing the stove and the gas bottle with me. This includes 2 saucepans, kettle, frying pan, as well as the cooking stuff here. And I've also got the strainer. So I'll just pop the schnitzel on there now, and then I'll be having the wraps in no time. Oh, also it's fuel, just with this Trangia bottle there. So that's perfectly tight, doesn't leak or anything. So much easier to store than a gas bottle. How relaxing is this? So it's about 7:30 on Wednesday morning. What nice morning coffee. Perfect still night. Bit overcast this morning. About to get those bacon and eggs underway and start packing up. Make my way back home. Alright, so I'm just going to wrap this trip up here. I'm just about to head out the Howqua track. If it's the first time you've seen one of my videos, welcome. Feel free to hit subscribe. If you have liked the video, give us a thumbs up. And if you want to see any of the other trips that I've done, feel free to check out my channel. And thanks for watching, and I will see you all next time. Cheers! All this running backwards and forwards for all these videos, yeah, it's good fun.